Good morning, foodies. Another episode of Mashups. In this little clip, and this is a very special clip because this is going to be an emergency TV show themed episode of Mashups, talking about a specific food that the boys from Emergency were having during an episode. Now, for those of you who don't know too much about Emergency, I know many of us do, especially members of the fan groups, but just as a quick recap, Emergency was a TV show on NBC that aired between 1972 and 1977, and it featured two Los Angeles County Fire Department paramedics, Johnny Gage and Roy DeSoto, and the rest of the members of the Station 51 fire crew in dramatic rescues and different types of medical emergencies. And it was one of the shows that inspired countless thousands of people to join emergency medical services. It still is a very popular show today, even though it's only on some of the lesser known streaming services, and it has a very large fan base following. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today was an episode in season 6. It was season 6, episode 13, An Ounce of Prevention. And in this particular episode, our heroes, John and Roy, get invited to go onto a television show and put on a fire prevention demonstration. And during that demonstration, the rest of the crew at Station 51 are watching the show on television. And I'll show you a quick screenshot of the rest of the boys in the station. Chet Kelly, Captain Stanley, Marco Lopez are on the couch, and there's the station dog, Henry. And they're watching the show, and they're enjoying chips and dip. Now, as they go through the episode, they're watching on TV, and Marco asks Chet, "What kind of dip is this?" And Chet replies, "That's butterscotch bean dip." To which Marco replies, "Butterscotch bean dip?" But they almost agreed that it tasted good because they kept on eating it. So I looked for a recipe for butterscotch bean dip, and I can't find one. I found a bunch of different things where butterscotch is used in different recipes, but not a specific butterscotch bean dip. So I'm going to try to recreate one here and see what it tastes like. So most all bean dips start with refried beans. And the most common ingredients that go in them after that are sour cream, sometimes cream cheese, and then whatever kind of flavoring that you're going to add to those components to make it a specialty dip. I'm also going to add a little smoked paprika, just to give it a little southwestern flair, which I've got to grab. I'll be right back. Okay, so in a bowl, we've got some refried beans. To that, we're going to add a little bit of sour cream. And I don't know how much. This is not a recipe. I'm literally going with this as we speak here. I'm going to add a little bit of cream cheese. And some butterscotch sundae topping. To that, we'll add a sprinkle of smoked paprika. And then we'll give this kind of a mix-up. Now in the show, I can't really tell what kind of chips they're using, so I've just got some tortilla chips. All right. Give that the finger taste. Now, that's getting there, but I think it needs a little bit more butterscotch. Not quite getting the butterscotch to come through. So let's add a little more of that. We're getting there. A little more smoked paprika. And I do think the butterscotch is going to be a significant part of this recipe in order to get it to cut through the flavor of the beans. All right, we'll pour that into our little dip bowl we've got going here. All right, so emergency, an ounce of prevention, Chet Kelly's butterscotch bean dip. Tastes like beans. It's got a little sweetness from the butterscotch. It's not overpowering. A little bit of the smoked paprika. All in all, that's pretty good. And like I said, there is no real recipe other than just me making it up. But I thought this would be a fun episode of mashups and pair it with some of my emergency collectibles and memorabilia that I've collected. Cheers. As always, KMG 365.